I never thought I'd see the day when my own family would turn their backs on me. But here I am, 4 years later, standing alone in my own company while they demand what's mine. That day still plays in my mind like a broken record, when they walked in, expecting a piece of what I'd worked so hard to build. I had spent those years building something from nothing. After my husband passed, I had to pick up the pieces of our shattered life, managing the business we started together. But none of them cared. My son, my daughter-in-law, they all disappeared, leaving me to face the world alone. For 4 long years, they never called, never visited, never checked in. I did it all by myself. And then, as if nothing had changed, they walked right into my office, demanding 50% of the company I built from the ground up. The audacity, the nerve, it was almost too much to bear. My heart raced, my palms sweating, but I kept my composure. No more tears, no more begging. I had endured their neglect for too long. Now, it was time to take control, to finally stand up for what was mine. I looked them both in the eyes and said the words I never thought I would. You didn't want me for 4 years, so what makes you think you can walk in here and take half? They looked at each other, and I could see the hesitation in their eyes, but it quickly turned into arrogance. My son, the one I had raised, the one I had poured my heart and soul into, straightened up and said, "Mom, it's not personal. We just think it's time for you to step back." Step back? I had worked day and night to keep this company alive after your father passed. It was not just a business to me, it was our legacy, our life together. I held my ground, feeling the familiar sting of betrayal creeping up. They thought they could walk in here and claim what they had no right to. The memories of the past 4 years, empty holidays, unanswered calls, and the growing distance, came rushing back. They had ignored me, left me to carry the weight alone, and now they were treating me like an outsider in the very life I had built. I wasn't going to let them take what was mine without a fight. I took a deep breath and replied, "You left me for 4 years. Now you come here and demand what I've worked for? No. That's not how this is going to play out." The silence between us hung thick in the air, each of us trying to find the right words, though I knew there was nothing left to say. My son, who once ran to me when he had a nightmare, now stood in front of me, demanding something he had no right to. I could see the familiar arrogance in his eyes, the same look he had when he ignored my calls or made excuses to avoid family gatherings. It was as if 4 years of neglect had never happened, and he was still entitled to whatever he wanted. My daughter-in-law stood next to him, her eyes cold, as if she were somehow the rightful heir to everything I had worked for. I had spent countless hours building this company, dealing with the stress of its ups and downs, never once asking for help from them. Yet here they were, pretending like they had a say in how it should run. I looked at them both, my voice calm but firm as I said, "You want 50% of my company? For what? For the 4 years you abandoned me? For the years I spent building this with my own hands, without any help from you?" They both exchanged a glance, and for a moment, I saw a flicker of doubt in my son's eyes. But it was gone as quickly as it came, replaced by that familiar, entitled look. "Mom, we're just trying to help you," he said, as if his words could erase the last 4 years. The calm in my voice surprised even me. Help me? By showing up after years of silence and demanding half of what I've built? This isn't about help. This is about control. The room felt cold as their eyes locked onto mine, the tension thickening with every passing second. I could feel the weight of their expectations pressing down on me, but I refused to let it break me. You don't get to waltz in here and claim what's mine just because you think you're entitled to it. I've done it all on my own. I built this company, I took the risks, and I'm the one who's been here, day in and day out. You didn't even have the decency to pick up the phone for 4 years, and now you think you can just take a piece of my life? My heart was racing, but my resolve was stronger than ever. They were not going to win this time. The silence between us was unbearable, and for a brief moment, I thought they might back down, but they didn't. My son shifted in his seat, trying to regain his composure. Mom, we've been through this already. We're just trying to make sure you're taken care of, he said, his voice softer now, as if trying to soften the blow. I didn't flinch. Taken care of? By pushing me aside for 4 years and then expecting to take a piece of my work? This is not about taking care of me, it's about taking what's mine. I could feel the anger building up, but I kept my voice steady. You think just because you're family, you have the right to come in here and demand what you want? No. That's not how this works. I've been the one here, managing everything, carrying the weight. Where were you when things got tough? I leaned forward, locking eyes with both of them. You didn't want me in your life then. So don't expect me to just roll over now and hand you what I've worked so hard for. My hands were clenched, but I was calm in a way that only comes when you've been pushed to the edge and have nothing left to lose. The tension in the room thickened as their words hung in the air, but I stood firm, not backing down. My son's face was unreadable now, but I could see the strain in his posture, the discomfort in the way he shifted in his chair. Mom, please, he said again, but there was no softness left in his voice. We just want what's fair. Fair? I almost laughed, but there was no humor in it. What's fair? I repeated, my voice steady but sharp. Fair would have been you showing up when I needed you, not disappearing when things got hard. His eyes darted toward his wife, as if looking for reassurance, but I didn't look away. Fair is not taking something that isn't yours, just because you think you're entitled to it. You left me to fight on my own, and now you think you can walk back into my life and take what I built? That's not how this works. The silence that followed felt like a victory, even though they were still sitting there, unmoved. I wasn't done yet. I would not let them take what I had worked for. Not this time. I had built this from the ground up, and I was going to keep it that way, no matter what. They both sat there, silent, but the weight of their presence felt heavy in the air. I could see the flicker of uncertainty in my son's eyes, but it quickly turned back into frustration. His voice broke the silence, thin and almost pleading. Mom, you have to understand, this isn't just about money. It's about family. We're trying to make things right. Make things right? I stood there, unmoving, my heart cold. Make things right? I repeated slowly, my eyes narrowing. By demanding what isn't yours, by pretending like you care after years of abandonment. This isn't about making things right. This is about you wanting control, wanting a piece of what you think you're entitled to. I took a step forward, my voice unwavering. You didn't care about me when I was struggling, when I was managing this company alone. You didn't even bother to check on me. Now you think you can just come back and take what you think belongs to you. That's not how it works, not in my world. The silence stretched longer, but this time, it wasn't uncomfortable for me. I wasn't the one who had to answer anymore. The tables had turned. I was in control now. The air was thick with tension as my son opened his mouth to speak again, but this time, his voice faltered. Mom, this is harder than you think, he said, his eyes avoiding mine. I stood my ground, not letting him off the hook so easily. No, this is easy. You left me when I needed you the most, and now you expect me to hand over half of everything I've worked for? I paused for a moment, my eyes scanning their faces, seeing the doubt creep into their expressions. You didn't want me in your life then, but now you want to be part of it, part of what I built? It's too late for that. My voice didn't waver as I continued. I've learned to live without you, and I've done just fine. I don't need your help, and I don't need your demands. The room was still, but the weight of my words hung between us, unspoken but understood. My son opened his mouth, probably to say something, but then he stopped. I could tell that somewhere deep down, he realized I wasn't going to back down. This wasn't about forgiveness or making amends. This was about me standing up for what was rightfully mine. The room fell into an uneasy quiet, the tension still hanging in the air. My son looked like he was about to say something, but the words never came. His gaze met mine for a brief moment, and I saw something there, guilt, maybe regret, maybe even a glimpse of the son I once knew. But it was too late for that. I had already made up my mind. I don't need your money, I don't need your help, and I sure as hell don't need your apologies, I said, my voice steady. What I need is for you to respect the work I've done and the life I've built. That's what you've never understood. My daughter-in-law shifted uncomfortably beside him, but I wasn't done. I'm not some charity case, and I'm not some safety net for when things don't go your way. I could see the cracks in their facade now. For the first time, they weren't the ones in control. I wasn't the broken mother or the helpless woman they thought they could push around. You wanted to take what was mine? Well, not anymore, I finished, standing taller than I ever had. This was my company, my life, and I wasn't going to let anyone take it from me.